Pass Tyrese Maxey the ball to win a basketball game. That's what you do in the lasting seconds. Philadelphia 76ers fall to the Denver Nuggets 137-134. Let's break it down here on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Kayla Santiago here as you are listening or watching Locked On 76ers on the Locked On Podcast Network. If you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you also check out our free daily newsletter that's on LockedOnDaily.com. It's completely free, where you will get all things Philadelphia 76ers. And trust me, you're going to want to check that out, especially going into the NBA trade deadline that is just around the corner. So make sure you check that out today. Your free daily newsletter on LockedOnDaily.com. I'm Kayla Santiago, everybody, host here at Locked On 76ers. In addition, the sideline reporter for the Delaware Bluecoats, which is the Philadelphia 76ers NBA G League affiliate. And we're going to touch on a lot of big topics here. Of course, the 76ers, they do fall against the Nuggets 137-134. That breaks that 4-game winning streak. They were trying to extend it to 5, which were doing their most on the season, and now they are stuck at that. And then in addition, how is this compared to last time? Last time they won 4 games, they went 2-10 following before this last stretch. How is that different? Is it the same? Are people worried? We'll dive into that. But my takeaway off the top is you gotta pass Tyrese Maxey the ball. What were the Philadelphia 76ers thinking? Now, I'm kind of contradicting myself, because if you watch this podcast before or listen, or if you're new here, I have consistently said that down the line, Tyrese Maxey's shot selection wasn't the greatest, that he should pass the ball at the end because he's trying to take a shot where he's double teamed and he just has nowhere to look, nowhere to go, and it doesn't look good. This time, I'm reversing that, because this is the best Tyrese Maxey has looked all season long in these last 4 to 5 games, counting last night against the Denver Nuggets. So you're telling me Kelly Oubre and Guerschon Yabusele are taking the last shot, and they're taking a 2 when they're down by 3, when the seconds are winding down? What are the Philadelphia 76ers doing? Tyrese Maxey had the mismatch as well out on the perimeter. They absolutely should have passed the ball to Tyrese Maxey. A few other things down the stretch that you want to look at as well. The 76ers in this game, this is what put them up, the Denver Nuggets, I should say, 133-132. That left about 12 seconds left on the clock. If you remember this, people, if you were watching the game or you were at the game, what am I talking about? I'll give you a few seconds. Why did the 76ers double team Jamal Murray? What about Nikola Jokic? What about the 2-time MVP? What about an NBA champion? What about him? How about Nikola Jokic? They let him roam around by himself. Then he goes in to the paint. Yes, they contest it, but it's an easier shot because he's able to get down there and he makes the 2. That puts them up 133-132. What about Nikola Jokic? You can't leave that guy alone. He is one of the best players and the best center in the league. You can't leave him alone. And the 76ers did just that at the end there. They kind of faltered a little bit as well. Not just twice he's won MVP, 3 times. 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. How do you leave him alone and you double team Jamal Murray? What are the 76ers doing? Let's talk about this game and dive in a little bit more, because I just gave you guys a little bit of that session where I'm sure a lot of different fans are feeling that way too. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're saying, no, they put it all out there. They had a chance to win that game, and I think every single person knew it. But let's talk about the positive things for the Philadelphia 76ers, because Tyrese Maxey, once again, 4 straight games of 30-plus points and over 50% shooting from the field for Tyrese Maxey. And if you guys were able to watch my podcast episode earlier about the All-Star conversation and did Tyler Hero deserve to get in over Tyrese Maxey, I did say yes, because this is the Tyrese Maxey that everybody has been waiting for. And the Heat right now, we're in 6th place at the 76ers in 11th, so it's a little bit different when you look at that when you're trying to get anybody in the All-Star game. Besides the point, Tyrese Maxey goes off once again, and this is why you give the ball to him at the end of the game. 42 points, 9 assists, 15 for 26 from the field, 6 for 11 from beyond the arc, 6 for 8 from the free throw line as well. Tyrese Maxey has been so good for the Philadelphia 76ers in the last 5 games. You have to give him the ball at the end there, regardless of anything you want to do. Now, granted, if he's double teamed, anything like that, you're trying to get things going, but you take a 2 and you leave out Tyrese Maxey, you absolutely cannot do that. So the 76ers, they do fall in this game, as we alluded to at the top, 137 to 134. But Tyrese Maxey just has been so good. And I have criticized his shot selection down the line, and I have criticized him not giving up the ball and not passing the ball. But at the same time, in a situation like that, you need to absolutely get him the ball. Let's look at the last 7 games. 42, 2, and 9 was last night. Before that, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Before that, 43 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. 29 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. 28 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists. 37 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. He's playing like an all-star right now. He has a chip on his shoulder, and that's where the ball should have gone at the end of the game. Now, let's highlight some other performances too, because Guerschon Yabusele is somebody that when you look at the 76ers right now, you almost get a little bit nervous about how good he's playing. And I say that because the trade deadline is around the corner, really just 6 days away at this point. And he is marketable. He is highly marketable for a lot of teams right now in the NBA. He is playing so well, so consistent. I know he missed that shot at the end there, but 28 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists for the Dancing Bear and Guerschon Yabusele. Now, the one thing that the 76ers really struggled with was rebounding in this game. And that is something that earlier in the podcast that I kind of said that was something that we're going to struggle with. Aaron Gordon was back on Wednesday of that game after he missed over a month of basketball. He comes back. He has some height in there. Of course, Nikola Jokic, I mean, he goes off like every other game, or every game, you should say. Nikola Jokic just has the game figured out at such a high clip. 28 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, 1 rebound away from a triple-double, and they were able to have 35 rebounds versus the 76ers, 27 rebounds. In addition to that, too, just sharing the ball. Now, granted, once again, Nikola Jokic had 13 of those assists, with Jamal Murray also getting in the assist action. He had 11, out-assisting Philadelphia 76ers 39 to 29 by 10 in that contest. So those are some things you look at with the Philadelphia 76ers in this game against the Denver Nuggets. But down the stretch, once again, the 76ers, you got to feed the ball to Tyrese Maxey. Also just better defensive possessions. There's no reason that you need to double team Jamal Murray way out there kind of in that right corner. Now, I get it. They might have been trying to force a steal, but you also have to keep your head up and keep who you have around you in Nikola Jokic, who's one of the best players currently in the league and has been for quite some time right now in the NBA as well. All in all, though, I am impressed with how the 76ers did fight in this contest. And I think a lot of that, of course, you pay homage to Tyrese Maxey. I mean, when you look at it, he has been carrying this team, but it's so different than carrying this team like he did before. Last time around, he was forcing shots. It was a lot of pressure on him, and you could almost feel it. Now he's still scoring, of course, at a high clip. I just alluded to his numbers just a moment ago. But at the same time, he's getting everybody else involved. Guerschon Yabusele, 28 points. Kelly Oubre, 27 points as well. Eric Gordon had 11. I will say the one player that I wanted to get more in the action, because we saw it a lot in the first half, was Justin Edwards. He only finished with 9 points, and he was right there as well in that first half of action. So he didn't really have a big second half impact, which is something you kind of missed out of his game in the second half. And then Ricky Council also having double figures with 10 points as well. So Tyrese Maxey, I mean, he is doing his thing. He is out there playing like an all-star. He has a chip on his shoulder. And the 76ers definitely need this push from him right now at this point of the season. But they do fall against the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets really struggled before this game. They lost 3 straight. The Philadelphia 76ers coming in red hot, really close to that 5th win. But they're at the end. I mean, that's just decision-making right there. You have limited seconds left in the game. And I do understand sometimes you say, you don't need a 3. You don't need a 3. You can go drive in and hope to get fouled or get the ball back. There wasn't enough time for that. The 76ers absolutely needed a 3 to tie the game. They go for a 2. They don't find Tyrese Maxey. They end up falling 137 to 134 in that contest. But man, Tyrese Maxey has been playing at such a high level for the Philadelphia 76ers. And if you're Philadelphia right now, the biggest thing that you can hope for is that he keeps that up, because they absolutely need that going forward. And they have an optional shoot around here today, but no practice or media availability. So unlikely we're going to get an update on these injuries until before that Celtics game on Sunday. So for the Philadelphia 76ers and Tyrese Maxey, this is going to be important for him to continue to push and play the way that he's playing, because we don't know the health status yet of Joel Embiid and Paul George. Nick Nurse did say they are monitoring the swelling of Joel Embiid's knee, that Paul George is day to day, and they're looking to get them back as soon as they can. But at the same time, it is important for Tyrese Maxey to keep doing what he's doing, because he has been playing at a spectacular level, and this is exactly what the Philadelphia 76ers need to keep on going. The question is, for our next segment, are you worried about what happened the last time the 76ers won 4 in a row? Because remember, the 4-game win streak is the highest of the season. They tied that the other day, getting that win. They could have gone above that, beating the Nuggets, but of course they fall 137 to 134. Are you worried the same outcome is going to happen after the past 4-game win streak? We're going to talk about what I mean in just a moment right here on Locked On 76ers. So what I mean is the Philadelphia 76ers, the last time they had a 4-game win streak, it was fine, it was dandy, and you said, okay, but they're not winning these games very convincingly. And the Kings broke that win streak when they broke it back on January 1st in the new year. What did the 76ers do after that? They went 2-10. 2 wins and 10 losses. And that's when the conversations continued of, is this team going to tank? Is it time for Cooper Flag? Because if you guys are listening to Locked On 76ers before the new year, before 2025 started, what we said is that the stretch of playing the Kings, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Nets, the Wizards, the Pelicans, those were super important when you were going to face right after the Magic, the Thunder, the Knicks, the Pacers, so on and so forth. And the 76ers dropped a few of those games. They dropped the Suns game. They dropped the Pelicans game as well. They barely win the Wizards game in that contest. They go 2-10 after they win 4 straight. Is it going to be the same outcome? Are 76ers fans worried? Should they be worried? Because this team has been an emotional roller coaster. This time, I will tell you that it is different. It is different because Tyrese Maxey is playing his best basketball, and that is not going to change. Tyrese Maxey, the player that he is right now, is the player that everybody hoped for in the beginning of the season. This is what Tyrese Maxey knows now. He is not going to get worse. And by worse, I don't mean that he's expected to score 40 points a game, because that could be unrealistic. But worse than, I say, his shot selection is going to fall again. He's going to force too many things again. He's not going to know where to put the ball. He's going to turn the ball over. His shooting percentage is going to go down. Those are things that I don't see happening with Tyrese Maxey. Because in the beginning of the year, when we're talking about those games, when we're talking about that 4-game win streak, Tyrese Maxey went through a lot. You're talking about calling out your franchise player in Joel Embiid. You're talking about Joel Embiid and Paul George barely playing, getting used to playing with Paul George, then getting used to playing the 2-man game with Joel Embiid, then it just being Tyrese Maxey, then your injury list looking like the nice list for Santa Claus to bring presents to people on Christmas morning, okay? Tyrese Maxey now is used to what has happened with the Philadelphia 76ers. The only thing that could change that is if the 76ers have a big blow at the trade deadline and they start shipping off a lot of guys, which could happen. Guerschon Yabusele is very marketable right now. Kelly Oubre is also marketable right now. Those are guys that you could talk about, because realistically, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid are the only 2 players that the 76ers have absolutely no thoughts of trading. But Tyrese Maxey has figured it out. He has been able to play loose. He's been having fun. He's been able to go out there, and they fell last night. I understand that. But Tyrese Maxey has it figured out now, where last time he did not. And if Joel Embiid and Paul George do come back, will that limit Tyrese Maxey's production? It might a little bit, but it's not going to get worse because you have Joel Embiid in there. And Joel Embiid is dominant when he can play and when he's healthy. So I do believe that it is different this time. Now, this has been an emotional roller coaster of a season for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I would not be shocked if for some reason they go off and only win 2 games again and have that same outcome. But I do think it's different this time. I also believe it's different, and I know that it's different because the 76ers are in a situation now that they realize that they cannot tank. They can tank, but they're not going to get the number 1 pick, and what's the point of that? Because Adam Silver, if you're not having the number 1 pick, if you don't have the worst record in the NBA, Adam Silver is not giving you a good pick. Come on now. He couldn't stand the process, right? So when I look at it right now for the Philadelphia 76ers, it's important to realize that they realize they can't tank. The Wizards aren't going to lose less games than the Philadelphia 76ers. The Wizards are the worst team in the Eastern Conference. The 76ers are on the outside looking in, very close outside to that play-in picture, and the Eastern Conference is not that competitive. So they will probably get into the playoffs. So Tyrese Maxey knows that. They know they can't tank. They know they got to play. They know they got to compete. And he's going to play like the Tyrese Maxey that we've been seeing him in these last 5 games. That does not mean he is going to score 40 points a game. Don't put that in your head. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the minor mistakes that we've been seeing throughout the season that we've been saying, we've never seen Tyrese Maxey do that before. What is he doing? Why is he forcing it? We're not going to see that again. I don't believe he goes back to that. I believe he stays where he's at, even if the scoring isn't as high, getting guys involved, getting guys comfortable, creating that chemistry. It took some time, but I do believe it's there to stay. Now, when I do say that, I don't mean that they're going to win all of their games going forward, right? Because I did predict that they would lose this game against the Denver Nuggets here tonight. I also think they lose against the Celtics and the Mavs. So that's 2 games that you're looking at a loss. Now, the Heat is a winnable game. The Pistons as well, even the Bucks, the Raptors, the Nets. The Sixers have one of the easiest schedules remaining in the entire league. So when you look at that, back even a month ago, you might have said, well, yeah, they should win those games, but they're not going to beat the Pistons. They're not going to beat the Heat because this team is bad. This team has turned the edge a little bit. They're not fully there, and they can't fully be there without Joel Embiid. But Tyrese Maxey will help them out way more than he was able to the last time they won 4 games, and then they went 2-10. So the 76ers are not going to go back to winning 4 games and then going 2-10. That is my takeaway. Let me know what you guys think. It was a tough loss for the Philadelphia 76ers. Once again, Tyrese Maxey absolutely going off in the contest. 42 points, 9 assists, 1 assist away from a triple or a double-double. And then Nikola Jokic 1 rebound away from a triple-double. And he had huge buckets at the end there. He also had a triple as well. The 76ers fall 137 to 134. And they are back in action on Sunday evening at home in the Wells Fargo Center at 6 p.m. Sunday, February 2nd. We don't know the status of Joel Embiid and Paul George just yet, or the other guys, Andre Drummond, Kayla Martin, KJ Martin. And keep your eyes peeled too. We will be also, if you want updates on the trades and everything like that, if anything happens in Philadelphia, it will be happening on Locked On 76ers. So make sure that you guys check that out. Stay tuned in with us. And thank you all so much for joining me on this episode of Locked On 76ers. A little bit of a post-game wrap-up against the Denver Nuggets. The Philadelphia 76ers, they do fall 137 to 134. Well, that just about does it for us here at Locked On 76ers on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you all after the Celtics game. Let us know what you think of the Philadelphia 76ers are not going to go back to that 10-2 if you believe in Tyrese Maxey, and if you think the 76ers continue on this upward roar. Let us know in the comments, and thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On 76ers.